Hello friends! So we are going to be starting our new project today. At this point you guys have looked over our slideshow where we have been learning about the importance of dragons in the Chinese culture, as well as learning a little bit about the Chinese New Year and how important that is. So there was a ton of information in our slideshow that I hope you guys were able to learn from, as well as viewing some of the images of the dragons, and they are super awesome to create. So I'm going to be showing you guys today how to draw a dragon. In particular, a Chinese dragon. We're going to be focusing on the face because that is kind of the most detailed part of the dragon. And so I'm going to be showing you how we are going to be creating that. For this project, we're going to be using a lot of symmetry. So remember, symmetry is if you were to take something right down the middle like a face, it's having things that are the same or very close to being the same when we're drawing on both sides. And so we're going to, especially for the beginning part of our dragon, try and keep things as symmetrical as we can. Now, obviously, you are going to be free drawing this. We're not going to be just drawing one side and tracing it, so it's not going to be exact, but we do want to focus on that symmetry. Once we are done, you guys are going to be adding the colors to your dragon to just really make it pop. All right, so let's get started. All right, friends, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start drawing our Chinese dragon. Now, just like we always do, the first thing that we're going to do for our paper is write your name and your teacher code. So write your name and teacher code on that paper. Flip your paper over so that you are ready to get started. Now, like I said before, we're going to be working on creating our drawing to be as symmetrical as we can, meaning everything we do on one side, we're then going to do on the other side as well. So for every line you draw on the left, you're going to draw it on the right. If it's not perfectly symmetrical, it's okay. Try to create yours the best that you can. Of course, if there are things that you want to do that are different than me, then the really neat thing is you can add so many different details. You can really get creative with this. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start with the nose of our dragon. So about halfway up on our paper, we're going to draw two circles. One on the left, one on the right. There's one, two. All right, so I have my two circles for the nostrils of my dragon. They're about halfway in the middle of my paper. Then I'm going to draw kind of the shape on the top of the nose. So I'm going to be using a curved line that goes around each one. Notice that I'm not having those curved lines touch each other in the center, okay? They come down towards the bottom where those circles are, and they stop. Next, I'm going to add the bridge of my nose with this kind of upside down V shape. So I'm going to two diagonal lines connect together, makes that little V shape. Then I'm going to add some texture, some detail here by adding a few more little V shapes. So I'm going to come in, make them a little larger. So again, kind of same on both sides. Maybe add another one. And I think I'm going to add one more. All right, so I have this kind of rigid texture on the nose here. Next, I'm going to come in and I'm going to add the eyes. All right, so the eyes are going to be right on either side of the bridge of that nose, and I'm just going to draw a circle. One on that side, one on this side. I think I'm gonna make this one just a little bit larger. I'm gonna color these in later, so it's all right. And then I wanna draw the top of that eye. All right, just kind of like that eyelid that's going to sit right above my dragon's eyes. And I'm gonna use what we call an S-curve. An S-curve sounds very much like it, is exactly what it sounds like. It's a curve that almost takes on the shape of an S. All right, so I'm gonna come in here at the bridge of my nose, and I'm going to draw a curved line that's going over the eye, and then it curves back up. Let's do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to draw my line. It's going to curve up over the eye, down, and back up. All right. So far we have that nose, the bridge of the nose, our eyes, and this kind of eyelid, or on where it's going to sit kind of right on top of the eye. Now I'm going to come back in with a curved line and kind of finish off the shape of that eye. Kind of football shape. Not quite football shape, but similar. Same thing on the other side. Mine are a little off. This one's a little smaller than this one. That's okay. Not a big deal here. All right, so the next thing we're gonna add is the eyebrows of our dragon. Now, dragons, well, a lot of times we think of that fire-breathing dragons, things like that. So I'm going to be mimicking flames a lot with my dragon. And so the eyebrows are gonna be the first place that I kind of have that mimicking of the flames. So what I'm gonna do, using another S-curve, starting here where the eye touches the bridge of the nose, I'm going to be drawing a curved line that comes up using that S-curve. Same thing on the other side. Then I'm going to draw this kind of V shape that's going to come down. All right. Curved line that's going to come back up. Make mine a little higher. Back down. And then I'm going to do one more that's going to come up and then connect back down. So again, mine are a little off symmetrically, but that's all right. We do the best we can to keep it where we need to. So this one's obviously much thicker than over here, and that's okay. Now, if I were using a pencil and it really bothered me, I could go back and erase this little line and extend it out a little further. All right, so we have our eyes, our nose, our eyebrows drawn. Next, let's add his little, the kind of remaining portion of the nose. All right, so to do that, we're going to come right here into the middle, and I'm going to draw a little V shape right in the center of that nose. Okay, so we have this kind of V, upside down V shape, and then I'm going to, again, mimicking the flames, we're going to add kind of the top lip of our dragon, and it's going to kind of look like a mustache in a way. Again, mimicking that flame. So, going to draw a curved line that's going to come up to a point. Kind of makes it look like he's got this kind of funky little smile there going. Bring that down just a little bit on either side. Draw that curved line, kind of creating that point, making sure it touches the bottom of that nose that I drew. And then again, adding some more of those zigzag lines, I'm going to allow that to extend out, creating kind of like this mustache shape. So I'm going to finish one side, and then I'll go do the other. So I'm going to come back down with this curve line here. Come out, back down, and then I'm going to curve this one downwards. All right, so lots of curve lines here. Let's do this again on the side. I'm going to bring this line, they point kind of like triangles at the top. Each time I do this, and bring it down, back up, down, and then curve it down. Now, once I do that, I'm going to bring a line, a vertical line from where I drew this little upside down V shape in his nose. I'm going to bring it down just a little ways. Okay. And then I'm going to draw that kind of S curve again. And I'm going to connect from here to here with that S curve. So I'm going to come up, down, and back up. And then same thing over here. Up, down, back up. So I create this kind of little mustache. I think if I were to do this again, I'd probably make that just a little thinner, but that's okay. All right, next let's add some teeth. I'm going to come down here under the lip, and I'm going to draw a nice big tooth. Same thing on the other side. Then I'm going to add a kind of W shape on either side. So I'm going to draw this little W. I have room for one more, so I'm going to draw another V shape, kind of getting the top row of teeth. If you don't have that much room, you just put however many you have room for. So I have this kind of top row of teeth here. Then I'm going to add the mouth, and our mouth is going to be open because we want to show those teeth. So I'm going to draw this U shape. That's going to come down, around, back up. Coming inside here, I'm going to add another set of teeth. Big tooth on either side. And I'm going to draw an M. And another M, finishing off those teeth at the bottom. So he's got this big old mouth. Next, I'm going to draw another U shape, creating the lip. It's going to be nice and skinny on the sides. Get a little thicker down here at the bottom. Back up, skinnier up towards the top. So we have the mouth of our dragon. All right, he's looking pretty cool. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add his beard. So Chinese dragons often have a beard. So coming from the side of the mouth, I'm going to draw a little S curve coming down. I'm going to do that on either side. Then I'm going to, again, mimic those flames. I'm going to draw a little zigzag line. So I'm going to come up. Same thing on the other side. Up. Bring another line down. Kind of zigzag that up each time. Notice as I draw on one side, I do the same thing on the other. And then I think I'm just going to connect these two here with this kind of U shape. It's kind of upside down U shape. And we have a beard on our dragon. All right, so we're getting there, but we're definitely not done yet. So he's got a face, but he's not really got a head. Next, we're going to add his little whiskers. I'm not quite sure what they're called, but it almost looks like another little thin beard. Coming down, I'm going to go ahead and say that they are whiskers for our dragon. So starting up here towards the nose, I'm going to be drawing that S curve again. Notice that S curve, we're using it a lot in this drawing. So I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to add a curve line. When I get to the beard over here, I'm going to stop, act like it's going behind that little mustache. So stop, hop to the other side, carry it through. One, stop, hop to the other side, and then curve it up, kind of like a fishing hook. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to draw our curved line. It's going to come up and down, stop, hop to the other side, stop, hop down here, come down, and curve up. All right, and then we want to give that a little thickness, so we're just going to draw another line that follows that same curve. Stop, hop. As I get down to the bottom, it's going to start to taper off, which means it's going to get thinner and thinner and thinner until we reach the end, and it's going to end in that point. Okay, that's where it looks a lot like that fishing hook. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Stop, hop to the other side. As you get closer to the bottom, it's going to slowly start to taper away until what you're left with is that point. All right, excuse me. Next, let's draw the side of his head. So we want to come and draw the side of his head kind of from down here. And we're going to be, again, making that kind of flame look, all right? So we're going to draw a line that's going to come, let's see, we're going to come up here, come out, same thing over here. Notice that when I'm not sure if my lines are going to be symmetrical, I just kind of lift my hand up and check the placement of where my lines are. All right, now the two sides of my heads, they're getting a little unsymmetrical. That's okay. So like for instance, whoops, if I could keep my paper in the center, this side curved, this one almost looks straight, okay? So it's not a big deal. Then we're gonna come with that kind of a zigzag line. I'm gonna finish off one side of my head and then go back and do the other, similar to what I did down here with my mustache. So I'm going to draw that curved line that's coming in, out, in, and I think I'm going to curve it up. All right, so same thing here. Notice again, I don't have quite as much space over here because this eyebrow ended up being a little bit larger. So just do the best you can. In, out, in, up. It's looking pretty cool. All right, so then I want to kind of finish that off. I'm going to bring that line down, bring this line down here, and now I'm going to add my forehead. So I'm going to actually add a few little details. I think right here, before I do much more, I want to kind of add some detail to my eyebrow by adding just this little extra thickness. So I'm going to do the same thing on both sides. And then I'm going to add my forehead by just doing some curved lines. Oops. All right. Now I'm going to add a few more lines, maybe making something maybe looks like a little horn. And then maybe adding another little area that comes up, maybe doing a little S curve. It's going to come out and in, and then connect down here to the center. Same thing on this side. Again, whatever I do up here, and you can change it up. You do not have to do exactly what I'm doing. But you do want to do the same thing on both sides. So if you decide you want to do something different, that's fine. Just make sure you're doing the same thing, trying to keep it symmetrical. All right. So we're pretty much done with our dragon's face. I think for me, if I were to do this over again, I might add some thickness here. He seems kind of thin through the mouth here, so I might extend some of these things a little further, maybe make that nose a little wider from the beginning. Or I could come back, and this is what you guys could do right now. You could come back and add some additional details. I might add a few more lines around the eyes. Maybe I want to come in and add some thickness in here that I didn't have before. So I could come back. This would be a chance for me to start getting super creative, keeping it as symmetrical as I can, but coming in and doing things like adding some of that thickness to my drawing. Maybe coming back in here, adding a little bit more. So I'd love to see what you guys are creating as you are doing this, how yours changes from what I've done, the kind of details that you've added to yours. And I hope you guys really enjoy this. Now, the next step of this project is going to be coloring, which is one of my favorite parts. So we're going to add any details that you want to add, and we will get started with that. So I think I'm going to add a few more details. I'll show you my finished drawing, and then we'll get started on that coloring. Have fun, guys. All right, guys, so I got a little carried away as I was adding those extra details. Just kind of coming in and drawing some extra lines wherever I felt like I needed a line. So kind of similar to this. It allowed me to kind of thicken up some of the areas that I didn't like, to fill in some things. So the really cool thing about this is you can really kind of modify it and create it into exactly what you want it to be, and to do a lot of really creative things. Now, this next part that we're going to do to finish off our project is coloring. This is one of my favorite parts of any art project, simply because the color to me is really what is going to bring this dragon to life. And so I hope you guys really take your time with your coloring. I am going to fast forward through my coloring so you don't have to sit here and watch me color this, because there are a lot of details and it can take a while. But if you would like to match some of those coloring at the end, you can. Now remember, one very significant colors for Chinese New Year is red. And so I'm going to be incorporating a lot of my warm colors into my dragon, not only because I kind of resembled those flames, which remind me of kind of that red, that fire, those warm colors, but because I do also want to use that red coloring. You can color your dragon however you are wanting to, but do keep that in mind as you are coloring this, all right? All right, so I'm going to start coloring mine. I want you guys to work on coloring yours, and I will show you mine finished once I'm done. So I will be right back. So this is my finished drawing. Notice I have colored everything in. Again, I really wanted to stick to that warm color scheme. You don't have to by any means stick to that same color scheme. That's just what I chose to do with mine. I wanted to incorporate lots of reds, and then of course to kind of mimic those lines that I did with the flames, kind of mimicking that idea of that fire. So I chose to do mine. Now, if you are done early, you could take this even a step further and you could color in the background. If I were to take this and color the background, I would probably choose one solid color, and I would probably use a cool color like a blue or a purple or a green, something that would allow my warm colors to really pop off the page versus kind of getting in the way of all the amazing detail that you guys have added. So I hope that you guys really enjoyed this project. I think these are going to turn out looking absolutely amazing, and this especially being a project I've never done with you guys before, with any class before, I would love to see what these turn out looking like when they are all done. So make sure that you work hard, that you do your best, that you work neatly, and just more than anything, take your time and have fun with it. Get creative. And I cannot wait to see them.